Hi, Brooke. Mr. Parrish here again. Let me talk about what a good job you did on the summary reaction paper. I think you're clearly coming along very well in this class. The one thing I can tell is that you're taking to heart a lot of the things they talk about in They Say, I Say. I noticed here at the end of the first page where you quote Jeffrey, and then you follow up on the quote, just like they explained in Chapter 3. It's so important to do, and it's always rewarding to see students pick that up and use that great tip. Let me say a couple of things to think about going forward. Remember to indent each paragraph. In a situation like this, it's pretty obvious you've started a new paragraph. But if you look at the very bottom of that first page, the less government intrusion ends on this line. When we go to the next page, I'm pretty sure you're starting a new paragraph, but I can't be sure. So that convention of indenting is really important. Also, you'll notice a couple of times I suggest you use that instead of how. It's how those words are used. And so if you study that phrasing of it, that might be helpful. Here at the end of the first paragraph is that classic comma splice error that they talk about in the inquisitive exercise. But what you can really tell is if in the second part of your sentence, if they is the subject of that second part, they is the pronoun that takes the place of a subject. And so you can always tell that that word is really starting that second sentence that the comma splice error involves, kind of just sticking these two sentences together. The other thing I talked about a couple of times, you use the signal verb in forms. I don't think there's a really effective one. Chapter 2 has a number of suggestions for that. I think here you might use something like, in addition, Jeffrey explains how it could help rebuild communities. I think that's probably the verb that works better than informs in that case. Here you're indicating that you want this E to be capitalized to make the punctuation work correctly, but actually the punctuation works better if you don't capitalize the E. Jeffrey states, even among conservatives, that partial quote would complete your sentence. Over on the second page, I think this comment goes up here where you have Abkarian worries about. That's a kind of odd, well, I guess that might work as a signal phrase. Believes might be another one. And there in forms, I suggest switching to suggest. I think your response paragraph is really well done. It's exactly the kind of thing I have in mind with this assignment. And if we just take a quick look at your works cited page, these are fine. Keep in mind that the publication gets italicized. That's what indicates this title is the big work, the newspaper, in the case of the Cincinnati Enquirer or the Los Angeles Times. So you're right, the article gets quotation marks, but the publication gets italicized. All right, now a lot of those are minor things, cosmetic things you'll want to clean up going forward. The heavy lifting of this course is exactly what you're doing. You're effective reading, doing a good job summarizing the signal phrases, integrating source material, presenting the 2 points of view here, responding to it. Couldn't be happier about the job you're doing with that. So keep it up, and I can't wait to see what you do in the next work.